LeBron always moves strange, not like Kobe.
You heard that right. Michael Jordan isn't just throwing shade, he's making it crystal clear that he's never liked or respected LeBron James. And today, I'll be unpacking the full story behind Jordan's beef with LeBron, from how MJ dismissed the chosen one hype, to the surprising reason Kobe got the mentorship LeBron never did. Wait till you hear the shocking truth MJ exposed about LeBron and Diddy. Trust me, this goes way deeper than you think. Let's dive in. If you know anything about Jordan, you'd know that he lived off competitiveness. People call him the most ruthless winner the NBA has ever seen, and that's not an exaggeration. He didn't just want to beat opponents, he wanted to humiliate them and crush their spirit. That kind of mentality doesn't fade when you retire. It lingers, and it shapes how you look at everyone who comes after you. So picture Jordan in 2002 when he was watching the media hype up a high school kid from Akron, Ohio, calling him the chosen one on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Before LeBron even played a single NBA minute, journalists were already saying he might be the one to dethrone Michael. And to Jordan, that wasn't praise for the future. That was a direct shot at him, and at the empire he built with 6 titles, 6 finals MVPs, and a brand that still dominates sneakers and culture decades later. So when the media started hyping up LeBron James as the chosen one, Jordan wasn't clapping from the sidelines, he was irritated. Because to him, greatness wasn't supposed to be handed to you on a magazine cover. It was supposed to be earned the hard way, brick by brick, season after season. And if you remember, Jordan came into the league in 1984, where he had to fight through the bad boy Pistons, deal with people saying he shot too much, and prove himself year after year until the 6 championships and the global icon status finally spoke louder than any headline. And if you want proof of how personal this was, just look at Jordan's history. In his Hall of Fame speech in 2009, the biggest night of his career, instead of being gracious, he used the stage to settle old scores with coaches, players, and executives.
Leroy Smith was a guy, when I got cut, he made the team, on the varsity team. But he started the whole process for me because when he made the team and I didn't, I wanted to prove not just to Leroy Smith, not just to myself, but to the coach who actually picked Leroy over me. I wanted to make sure you understood you made a mistake, dude.
That's who he is. Jordan keeps receipts, so when the media made LeBron the heir apparent, you can bet that went into his mental filing cabinet. Even LeBron himself admits the relationship is distant. On the Pat McAfee show in 2025, LeBron flat out said this.
You and Michael at a good spot.
Who, me and Michael?
Jordan?
Yeah, we're a good spot.
So that you understand how deep this is, MJ is LeBron's idol, like the guy whose posters were on his wall as a kid, and there's no relationship between the two of them. For a player as respected as LeBron, that's unusual, because other legends get welcomed into the fraternity, and Jordan gave Kobe that bond, but LeBron never got it. And here's the kicker. The very things fans loved about LeBron, the hype, the headlines, and the anointing, were the exact reasons Jordan never warmed up to him. To Jordan, those weren't badges of honor. They were red flags. And trust me, it only gets deeper from here. Because the truth is, this was never only about 2 players. It was about something much bigger. The empire Jordan built, the throne he guarded, and the legacy he refused to let anyone rewrite. Michael Jordan didn't just dominate basketball, he reshaped what it meant to be a global sports icon. Before him, NBA stars were big, sure, but they weren't superstars. So yeah, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird carried the league in the 80s, but Jordan took it to an entirely different universe. He wasn't just a player, he became a proper brand. Think about it. The Air Jordan sneaker line is still the most popular in the world decades after he retired. Gatorade ran Be Like Mike commercials that kids sang in schoolyards. Space Jam made him a movie star because every dunk contest, every finals moment, and every championship celebration turned into part of a larger story. Jordan built the blueprint for modern celebrity athletes, long before Instagram and TikTok could amplify it. And that's what made LeBron's arrival so sensitive. The throne wasn't just about basketball numbers, it was about an empire Jordan spent years protecting. And when the media started saying LeBron could surpass MJ, he didn't just hear noise, he heard danger. Because here's another fact about Jordan. He's obsessed with legacy. Players retire and move on, but Jordan never stopped caring about how people ranked him. You can see it in his interviews. Whenever someone suggests another player might be the GOAT, he gets defensive. He'll subtly downplay other stars and remind people that he went 6 for 6 in the finals. Now imagine how he felt when a teenager was being hailed as the next him before proving a thing. And remember, Jordan was never shy about crushing threats. During his career, if a young player tried to come at him, he destroyed them. Remember how he dropped 55 points on rookie Allen Iverson after AI gave him a crossover? Or the time he buried Clyde Drexler in the 1992 finals after being compared to him? Yeah, that was his mentality. You don't get to share his airspace unless you earn it. And even then, he'll remind you who's in charge. With LeBron, he couldn't do that on the court because their careers barely overlapped, so instead, Jordan drew the battle lines in the media. Every time he was asked about LeBron, he gave respect, but kept it cold, distant, and calculated. He'd highlight rings and always pivot back to Kobe when pressed about successors. It was his way of saying, "This guy doesn't get to sit at my table." And this sets up the real conflict. To understand why that whole chosen one cover annoyed Michael Jordan so much, you have to remember the difference in how they came up. Jordan wasn't chosen, he was overlooked. He got cut from his high school varsity team as a sophomore and went to North Carolina, where he had to fight just to earn minutes behind upperclassmen. In fact, when he hit the NBA in 1984, he wasn't even the #1 pick. He went third, behind Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie. His entire career literally started with doubt and obstacles. And let's be real, the hype around LeBron was unlike anything the NBA had ever seen. He was on ESPN as a high schooler, his games sold out arenas before he even graduated. By the time the 2003 NBA draft rolled around, everyone from Nike to ESPN to Jay-Z was treating him like the savior of basketball. The comparisons didn't take long either. LeBron wore number 23, and he signed a $90 million Nike deal before playing a single NBA game. Plus, his nickname is literally King James. All of it felt like the world was positioning him as the next Jordan without him earning it. And here's the thing, Jordan's competitive streak wasn't just about opponents, it was about control. He wanted to control his legacy, control the narrative, and control who got to be mentioned in the same breath as him. Even years later, Jordan still keeps shading LeBron, like in this interview.
Between the two, that'd be a tough choice, but 5 beats 1.
This was the breaking point. Because if the chosen one cover symbolized LeBron's coronation, Jordan saw it as an attempted coup. And in his mind, there was only one player worthy of being called his successor.
That's a foul all day long.
Oh, I know you ain't talking. I know you ain't talking.
Hey, you only got 3 now. I get 6. I would get that foul. You only got 3 now.
You right, can't say none of that. Hey, Mike, you gotta shoot it quick. I'm getting to that.
No, I had you already.
Yeah, but I'm getting to that. I know where you're going. I'm getting to that.
No.
You gotta get up quick.
If you knew where I was going, why you go for the fake?
Mike, after you fake the ball, where else you gonna
You
go?
left your feet.
Yeah, but where else you gonna go?
In the game, I go for you.
I spun all the way around.
I go for these ribs right here.
I spun all the way around and got to it.
Because if there's one thing Michael Jordan has made crystal clear over the years, it's that his true basketball little brother wasn't LeBron James, it was Kobe Bryant. And once you break it down, the reasons aren't hard to see. First, let's talk about personality. Kobe was wired almost identically to Jordan. They are both cold, ruthless, and obsessive. He wasn't trying to be liked, he was trying to be feared. That competitive nastiness, the willingness to cut your teammate out of the offense or take 40 shots if it meant winning. That's exactly the way Jordan played. Jordan saw himself in Kobe in a way he never could with LeBron. LeBron's game has always been more about making the right basketball play. He's a pass-first superstar who would rather find the open man than force the shot. To the average fan, that's unselfishness, but to Jordan it looked like softness. In his world, the alpha dog takes the shot, no matter what. Then there's the work ethic. Kobe modeled his entire career after Jordan. He copied the footwork, the fadeaway, and even the mannerisms.
You have to put up with the aggravation, the late night calls, or the dumb questions.
There are interviews where Kobe straight up admitted he called Jordan at all hours of the night to ask about moves, counters, and mentality. LeBron, on the other hand, never chased Jordan's approval in the same way. He idolized him, sure, but his path was different. He wanted to be LeBron, not the next Jordan. And because of that, the bond never formed.
Kobe was my dear friend. He was like a little brother.
And don't underestimate the emotional side. When Kobe died in 2020, Jordan's tribute at the memorial was raw and unforgettable. He called Kobe his little brother. He cried openly, admitting how much their bond meant to him. That wasn't a performance. That was genuine love. And you don't get to that place unless there's a deep connection built over years. LeBron never got that intimacy with Jordan. There's respect from a distance, but no mentorship, no midnight phone calls, no big brother-little brother dynamic. And if you listen closely, that silence says more than anything ever could. It's not just about play style or personality either. Jordan has always been hyper-aware of legacy. For him, Kobe reinforced the myth of the Jordan way, that brutal, win-at-all-costs mentality. LeBron represented something different, something new. I'm talking about player empowerment, friendships across teams, and even political activism. To Jordan, who carefully guarded his image and avoided controversy during his playing days, LeBron's version of leadership might have felt foreign, maybe even threatening. That's why to this day, you'll hear Jordan talk about Kobe with warmth and genuine love, while his comments on LeBron stay clipped and technical. And for LeBron, who grew up idolizing MJ, that lack of blessing has to sting. Because in sports, there's no crown heavier than the one Jordan wore. And there's no stamp of approval more valuable than his. And that's the thing. In NBA culture, silence says more than words. Because usually, the greats love passing the torch. Magic Johnson made a whole event out of embracing Kobe when he came into the league. Kareem mentored Shaq and gave him his blessing as the next dominant big man. Even Bill Russell would show up to finals games just to personally hand over the trophy and dap up guys like Kobe or KG. But with Jordan and LeBron, there was nothing. If you remember, LeBron literally said they don't talk.
When you were a kid, who did you look up to?
Wow, I love Michael Jordan.
And it's not like LeBron hasn't tried to give Jordan his flowers. He's openly called MJ his inspiration, his GOAT, the guy who made him pick up a basketball. But instead of support, LeBron has spent his whole career under the shadow of Jordan's indifference. And here's the wild part. It only got messier when the Diddy rumors started. Because once stories about LeBron's image and off-court life started circulating, it made Jordan's distance look less like indifference and more like confirmation. You remember that clip of Michael Jordan saying LeBron always moved strange, not like Kobe. And then he dropped the line about the Diddy stuff. That's when things got really interesting. Now, before you roll your eyes thinking this is just another Twitter rumor, let's be clear. Michael Jordan actually said this.
LeBron always moves strange, not like Kobe. And when the Diddy stuff came out, I knew I was right all along. That's why I chose to mentor Kobe, not him.
You've also probably seen that clip where LeBron was talking with Diddy on an Instagram live and said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Yeah, this one.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
That's it.
For years, wild rumors tied him to Diddy's circle, from late-night celebrity events to casual Instagram moments like that one. And yeah, most of it was just noise. But when Michael Jordan referenced the Diddy stuff, suddenly those weren't just jokes anymore. The GOAT himself had weighed in. Let's back up for context. Diddy has been in a serious legal battle for a while now, and in 2025, he was convicted on 2 counts, following years of allegations from ex-partners, including Cassandra Ventura, who accused him of a long cycle of abuse and coercion. There were multiple lawsuits alleging assaults and exploitation spanning over a decade. That's the reality behind the Diddy party clips. These weren't just celebrity party antics. They were tied to someone under serious legal scrutiny. Now imagine the optics. LeBron is caught in a casual clip, maybe even just joking, and Jordan watches it. He's the man whose every move was calculated, whose empire was built on discipline, focus, and control. So when he says, "When the Diddy stuff came out, I knew I was right," he's not gossiping. He's observing patterns through the lens of someone who turned perception into legacy. Suddenly, LeBron's association with Diddy looks less like harmless fun and more like a potential red flag. And here's the kicker. The internet noticed. Memes circulated faster than a fast break, and the fans turned it into evidence that LeBron wasn't Kobe. He was not disciplined, not refined, and certainly not worthy of Jordan's mentorship. Jordan didn't have to say much more because that clip did all the heavy lifting. And that's where it gets real. Even fans who defend LeBron had to admit Jordan's cold shoulder was valid. Because when the greatest player ever looks at you and says, "You don't move right," that sticks. But the thing about Michael Jordan and LeBron James is that their tension doesn't exist in a vacuum. The NBA has always thrived on beefs. Honestly, half the league's history is more like a mixtape of grudges than a sports timeline. And that's why MJ versus LeBron feels so familiar. It's part of the tradition. Think back to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and how that wasn't just a rivalry, it was a full-blown cultural war. It was the East Coast versus the Midwest, Lakers Showtime versus Boston Grit. Those two carried the NBA on their backs by competing like their lives depended on it. And the wild part, they ended up becoming close friends later. But during their careers, they could barely stand each other. Fast forward, and you've got Isaiah Thomas and Jordan himself. Now that was nasty. Thomas's Pistons literally built the Jordan rules, a defensive strategy that was basically legalized assault. MJ hated it, and to this day he hasn't forgiven Thomas. You saw The Last Dance. He said it with his whole chest.
How legitimate was the hatred between those Bulls teams and those Pistons?
Oh, I hated him. And yeah, he carries even to this day.
That's decades of beef, and it's still standing. Then you've got Shaq and Kobe, two guys on the same team, winning championships together, but still throwing shots in interviews and even on rap tracks. That's NBA drama at its finest. And the crazy part is, that beef made their story legendary. Because people don't just remember the rings, they remember the tension. So when people say, Jordan doesn't mess with LeBron, it doesn't sound shocking in the NBA world. Beef is practically baked into the DNA of the league. Fans expect it, the media fuels it, and players secretly know it adds to their myth. Here's the funny part though. NBA beefs are just like rap beefs or celebrity feuds. They're always personal, even when they look professional. Rappers will diss each other over beats, but deep down, it's about respect and ego. Same with celebrities subtweeting each other or dropping shade on interviews. The NBA has just been doing it longer and doing it louder, and the fans eat it up. Every cold quote from Jordan gets dissected. Every time LeBron praises MJ and doesn't get energy back, it becomes a meme. Every rumor or comment adds another log to the fire. That's the cycle. Drama fuels legacy, legacy fuels debates, and debates fuel the NBA machine. Honestly, if the NBA didn't have beefs, it'd probably just be baseball with sneakers. And nobody's clicking a 2-hour documentary called Everyone Got Along and Played Nicely. No, we want the messy stuff. And in this case, the messy stuff has real consequences. Because Jordan's favoritism for Kobe over LeBron didn't just stay in the locker room, it shaped the way millions of fans see the GOAT debate today. One thing you have to understand is that in the NBA, the blessing of the previous king matters. It's like getting knighted. Once the legend passes the crown, it cements your status. That's exactly what Kobe got. Jordan's mentorship made him the chosen heir in a way no Sports Illustrated cover ever could. Fans saw Kobe as the guy carrying Jordan's torch, not because the media said so, but because Jordan himself showed it. He taught him footwork, he praised him publicly, and at Kobe's memorial, he cried like he had lost family. That endorsement made Kobe bulletproof in the GOAT conversation for a lot of fans.
All for 52 years, everything in sports going on in Cleveland. And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time. You know, everybody was just talking how they were the greatest team of all time. Like, they was the greatest team ever assembled.
LeBron never got that, and that absence shaped everything. Every time the media tries to crown him, critics pull out the same card. If he's really the GOAT, why didn't Jordan embrace him? And yet, here's the twist. LeBron's career is so ridiculous that he might be breaking through it anyway. We're talking about 20-plus years at the highest level, 4 championships, the all-time scoring record, and still going at age 40. Nobody has ever stretched dominance this far. So now, the lack of Jordan's blessing doesn't kill the debate, it fuels it. That's what drives the conversation today. On one side, you've got the Jordan loyalists saying, if MJ never passed him the torch, it means something. On the other hand, you've got LeBron fans pointing to the numbers and longevity, saying he's rewriting the rules whether MJ likes it or not. And in a way, that's MJ's worst nightmare, the idea that someone could take the throne without his permission. When you look back at the story, it's totally simple. Michael Jordan built the throne, he created the global icon model every superstar chases today, and when it came time to choose a successor, he made it clear that it wasn't LeBron James. It was Kobe Bryant. And that is why the GOAT debate refuses to die. Because it was never just about basketball. It was about pride, legacy, and the one thing Jordan never gave LeBron, validation. And if you made it this far, you clearly love this drama as much as we do. So go ahead and hit that like button, drop your take in the comments. MJ or LeBron, who are you riding with? Oh, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Because trust me, there's a lot more where this came from.